Well, this is my first recording YouTubers in a bit because I've been under the weather. I'm slowly but surely getting better. I just grabbed some lunch. Don't mind me if I'm eating on stream. I eat on stream. I eat on recording. So, sue me. Yeah, I'm a Dr. Pepper over here. But anyways, we're reacting today to 8 popular fan theories about Resident Evil Requiem that this guy that I watch pretty regularly, Nerd Space Games, which I need a hashtag him in there, his video. He has really good videos. You don't think these are true. So let's see what the fans have made up to think what's going to happen in Requiem. And I figure of these top 8, there is going to be one that I agree with because I think it's bullshit, actually. So let's see if that one's in there. Let's watch it and find out. This will be on YouTube probably like an hour after I watch it.
Number 1, the Hag is not Alyssa Ashcroft. There's a lot of interesting theories going around about this new stalker enemy that has appeared
I've heard
in
this
the
theory
trailer
too.
and the gameplay footage of Resident Evil 9. Currently labeled as the Hag, this stalker enemy has been compared to Lisa Trevor, the tragic monster Resident Evil remake. Other people say that she might just be a new stalker enemy. However, one of my favorite theories that I unfortunately don't think is true at all is that Alyssa Ashcroft is actually this new stalker enemy. The theory says that sometime after Alyssa's death, the person that killed her somehow took her body and began experimenting on her in an attempt to extract the daylight antibodies. In order for this theory to carry any weight though, this would mean that the FBI, or at the very least the government in some way, had to be aware of who killed Alyssa if they were fine with this killer taking her body for experiments.
Exactly.
The biggest issue with this theory though is the fact that I can't see Capcom bringing back a character like Alyssa and turning her into the next big BOW.
Yeah.
Still, of all the theories on today's list,
But
this is
I've
actually
heard
the one
so
I'm
many
ultimately
people,
rooting for the most,
so many
but I
people
just
say
think
that's a
it's very
stalker,
unlikely
and that's
that this
kind
stalker
of
enemy turns out to
really
be
much
anything more than Lisa
bullshit.
Trevor or a
It's
new
one of the bullshit
character
theories I
altogether.
fucking hate. The people believe that that's her.
Number 2, this is
Said
not
as
the
soon as
face
the trailer was
model
over.
of Natalia Corda. Ever since the reveal of Resident Evil Requiem, Eagle Eye fans have been pointing out some hints that point towards Alex Wesker appearing in this game. From the strange woman walking down a hospital wing that sort of resembles what Natalia could look like as an adult, to the way Maggie Robertson dresses in the teasers at Summer Game Fest. Still, one of the more recent pieces of evidence that fans have started to point at is this face model here revealing that she was hired for a major character in Resident Evil Requiem. The reason why fans have speculated that she's being used for the face model of Alex Wesker is because this model looks like an older version of Natalia Corda, the young girl that Alex Wesker took over at the end of Resident Evil Revelations 2. For that reason, a lot of fans have started to speculate that 1, Alex Wesker is in the game, and 2, this was her face model. However, there are 2 things to note that kind of debunk this theory. For one, the actress said that she believes she is portraying a playable character. If Alex Wesker is in the game, I doubt she'll be a playable character, just saying. Instead, she would be one of the villains of the game, or even the main villain of Resident Evil 9.
Right, exactly.
Also, it's worth noting that Capcom has confirmed that they used wigs for some characters when filming the face models. For example, Grace's face model used a wig, we know that for sure, and some of the images of this model appear to have the face model's hair pinned up, as if she were planning on using a wig on her face for the final product. So it's possible this model could be used for Grace for all we know. But regardless, not long after posting these images, that model retracted her earlier statement saying that she doesn't know all of the details of who she is playing, but honestly, I feel like she just got sniped by Capcom and they made her say that. Well, let me know what you guys think. Do you think this model is potentially the model for Natalia or Grace, or do you think she's just a model for a different character that we don't know about yet? Number 3, Raccoon City will not be fully explorable. One detail revealed in the trailer that has had fans talking constantly about is the fact that Resident Evil 9 looks to be revisiting Raccoon City in the present day, meaning that we will get to see Raccoon City in ruins after the bomb that destroyed the city. However, I think that the trailer could be misleading, especially when you think about some of the details involving Raccoon City and some of the things that we saw. First off, I don't think we'll actually get to explore the streets of Raccoon City, at least not to the full extent that we're hoping for. I mean, think about it. What's there really to explore? Everything is mostly destroyed, and whatever is left probably doesn't have much to fight against. If there were zombies or other infected creatures roaming around the streets, I'm sure the government would have found out about it by now and would have done something about it. Instead, I think we'll actually spend very little time in the ruins of Raccoon City, and the time that we do spend there will feature little to no combat. However, with the focus on the RPD station, I do think we could see more of the interior of that building at the very least, until we use it to enter the secret passage and ultimately find our way back to the underground labs. That's where I think we'll spend most of our time at when we're in Raccoon City, under Raccoon City, and in
That's
the
a good theory.
Umbrella
I like his
Labs.
theory
Perhaps
about
there's another hidden lab
how the
under
Raccoon City
fits
into play.
My
That's
theory
pretty
is that
cool.
Raccoon City will mostly be featured as a plot point, revealing details about this secret truth that is being teased by Capcom. However, I don't think most of the game will actually take place in Raccoon City, but rather in some surrounding locations near or maybe under or around Raccoon City to some extent. Like Rhodes Hill, which is said to be closer to the Arclay Mountains and just outside of the city. I also think that there's a second location or two that hasn't been revealed to us yet that we'll have this second protagonist exploring while Grace spends most of her time in Rhodes Hill.
Ah, I like it. I like it. I like the way he thinks. He's a good
Number
thinker.
4, Albert Wesker is not alive. Ever since the trailer, this mysterious man has sparked all sorts of theories.
Oh my
personal
gosh.
favorite is
Yeah,
the
he's
fact that
dead.
this man in
Killed
the
him in
chair
5,
is Oswald
remember,
E. Spencer, but
idiots?
we've also heard other crazy theories, from it being Nikolai to Brandon Bailey. However, one of the more popular theories that fans have is the fact that this mysterious man in the chair is in fact Albert Wesker.
No, it's not.
Considering that Wesker is without a doubt one of the best and most iconic villains of all of gaming,
But he's
I
dead.
totally understand
We
why
killed him
people
in 5,
want him
so
to
he's
come
not
back.
live.
And yeah, despite him being blown up by 2 rocket launchers while in the middle of a volcano, there are definitely ways for Capcom to get around his death and bring him back as the main villain of Resident Evil 9.
Exactly,
One problem
but
though, I don't think Chris Redfield is coming back for this game. I mean, he's got too much to deal with between raising Rose Winters right now and figuring out what's going on with the BSAA. And considering that Wesker and Chris has one of the biggest rivalries in all of gaming, it seems absolutely wrong to bring Wesker back and have him get killed once and for all without Chris being present. Like, there's no way in hell Capcom will strip Chris of killing Wesker in Resident Evil 5 without giving him another chance to do it again in a future Resident Evil game. So despite the mysterious man clearly wearing a jacket that closely resembles Wesker's midnight jacket, I unfortunately don't think Wesker will be in Resident Evil 9 at all.
Yep, me too. I agree with that theory.
After the initial trailer release, fans begin to make comparisons to this mysterious hooded man in the trailer and to Leon's
They'll do
face from
anything to
Resident
bring
Evil
Leon
4
Kennedy back,
Hell,
and
fans
he's
have
not
even
coming
compared
back.
The shape of this guy's lips and the way he frowns, and after doing all of this, these same fans say that it closely resembles Leon in just about every single way.
The
And while
fuck
I
is
totally
wrong
see
with
the
people,
comparison,
man?
there's no way in hell that this hooded figure is going to be
People are-
Leon.
you
Could it
people
be
are
a different
insane,
recognizable face
thinking
from the past?
that
Absolutely.
Leon's
This
coming back,
mysterious
and
man
then,
actually
or
being a good
if
guy
he's
instead
coming
of
back,
being the
he's a
killer that the
monster. What the
trailer
fuck?
hints towards
Like,
him
come
being.
on, get the fuck
Sure,
out of here.
but I can't see Resident Evil 9
Like, get the fuck
going
out of
off
here. I'm
the
tired
same
of hearing that
tactic
theory.
as they did with Jill Valentine and Resident Evil 5. It just
Rumors are
seems like a
ridiculous.
rinse and repeat plot point, and I personally don't think Capcom will reuse this again. Also, since this hooded figure appears to be the one that abducts Grace at Renwood Hotel, I feel like this character has got to be a villain, and more than likely it'll be someone that works for the man in the chair or the man himself. Like a Daniel Fabrone or a Lucas Baker type of character makes more sense than Leon in my opinion. Hell, I've even seen people say that this could be Jake Mueller or Billy Cohen, which I think
Really?
both have a better chance of being the hooded man over Leon in my opinion, but are still pretty out there and pretty crazy.
Yes, some of these are really out there for sure.
Number 6, the voices in the trailer are not Jill, Chris, or Carlos.
Exactly.
This one kills me to talk about, as I noticed that a lot of fans that have watched the original trailer immediately heard some recognizable voices. Specifically, a lot of fans believe that they heard the voice of Nicole Tompkins and Jeff Shine, the voice actors behind legendary Resident Evil characters like Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield from Village. Here's the thing though, while it's very possible that the voices that we heard during the Raccoon City montage of the reveal trailer of Resident Evil 9 could very well be that of Nicole and Jeff, the fact is that these actors have portrayed multiple characters in the Resident Evil franchise before. For example, Jeff Shine has voiced both Chris Redfield in Village and Carlos in Resident Evil 3 Remake. Nicole, on the other hand, has voiced Jill Valentine in Resident Evil 3 Remake, but has also voiced one of the Dimitrescu daughters in Village. So clearly, Capcom is not against reusing voice actors for different characters in the franchise, meaning that just because we heard voices that sound like Chris and Carlos and Jill in the trailer, doesn't mean that those characters will be featured in this game, unfortunately. In fact, I think Nicole's character is actually going to be Alyssa Ashcroft, as I can see Nicole doing a good job as her character in the flashback sequences. Jeff Shine is a little harder to figure out, but I don't expect Chris or Carlos to show up in this game at all, so if that was his voice, he'll probably be voicing a brand new character, or maybe one of the Outbreak characters. Regardless, as much as it pains me to say this, I don't think Jill, Chris, or Carlos are in this game, and I also don't think any of the voices that we heard were them specifically. I think one voice sounded like Leon though, and another one kind of sort of sounded like Ada, just throwing that out there.
Oh my gosh, are you as bad as these fans? There's no Ada, there's no Leon. Shut the fuck up about it.
Alyssa Ashcroft. While not a major theory like some of the other ones on today's list, another fan theory that I see making the rounds is the fact that Al Lester, aka the Axeman of the flashback scenario in Outbreak 2, is the serial killer that killed Alyssa Ashcroft 8 years prior to the events of Resident Evil 9. Now, look, I'm all for more Outbreak references. I think those
Hmm.
games are criminally underrated, and the more connections that we get to those games, the better. With that
Yep.
being said, there's no reason in my mind why Al Lester should be a character brought back for Resident Evil 9. Like, he was a minor character that was only featured in a single scenario of a spin off game. Sure, he's already infected with some strain of the T virus, and it could explain how he might have survived the collapse of the abandoned hospital at the end of the flashback
Hmm.
scenario, but even then, you have to ask yourself, why? I don't think he was that interesting of a character. Sure, his hatred for Alyssa is a strong motive for him to kill her, but again, of all the villains of the Resident Evil franchise, retconning his death seems like the biggest waste in my opinion. If you're
Hmm.
going to retcon a villain's death, go with Wesker, Spencer, or someone else, not some random serial killer who holds a grudge.
Right.
Logically, though, I guess I can understand why it makes sense. There's some references to Rhodes Hill potentially being the abandoned hospital from the flashback scenario, which would
Hmm.
explain why Al Lester could be involved in the story. And yeah, I know
Oof.
that hospital collapsed, but if Capcom is going to retcon his death, they might as well retcon the destruction of the hospital as well, right? Regardless, though, I highly doubt Al Lester will be involved in this game at all, not even as an Easter egg, in my opinion.
What's the last one?
Number 8, Birkin and Nemesis did not survive Raccoon City. So this one is kind of crazy, and it's honestly crazier that I even have to talk about it, but ever since Raccoon City was revealed to be a key part of Resident Evil 9, a lot of fans have started speculating that maybe Nemesis or G. Birkin actually survived the Raccoon City incident. I guess the logic a lot of people have regarding these two is the fact that they were killed underground, which means they were covered from the blast of the bomb that annihilated Raccoon City. Okay, now listen, I'm all for iconic villains making a comeback, but while this game will have some major nostalgia in terms of the story, there's not a single part of me that believes that either Nemesis or Birkin are still alive. Birkin was
Hmm.
literally blown up in a big explosion. We literally saw the explosion completely cover him and pretty much annihilate whatever was left of him. If he did
Hmm.
survive that, then I have no idea how the hell we're going to end up killing him in Resident Evil 9. Like, how the hell do you kill something that survived that? A similar
Right.
argument could be made for Nemesis too. While we didn't see him get blown up, we did see a massive railgun turn him into one giant puddle of blood. I can't see him regenerating from that, even if he is Nemesis. Though I will say that if one of them did survive, it would probably be Nemesis, because that dude is persistent as fuck,
Hmm.
and we've seen him
Very
recover from
persistent as
only
fuck.
part of his body surviving at one
I agree
point.
with
So
that.
he's got that going for him at the very least, but I'll
Hmm.
be honest, I don't think either one of these guys survived. I don't think they're going to be Resident Evil 9, so
Hmm.
don't get your hopes up. But that does it for this episode of Nerd Space Games. Hit up the comments and let me know what you think of my list. Do you think any of these theories are actually true, or do you agree
Nope.
with me and believe that
I
they're
agree.
all
If every
very
single
unlikely?
theory that is
Also, hit
not
up the
true.
comments and let me know a popular fan theory.
Yeah, I agree with this dude. None of these theories are true, but boy, is he leaning that's Leon Ada. And what the fuck? Do I have to watch the trailer too and listen? I might have to watch the trailer now because I'm very curious how people are picking up on Leon and Ada being anywhere, anywhere close to it. You know, but I have to watch and see. Let me know what you think in the comments because I don't think and I want to know a legit reason, a logical reason why we think Leon Ada would be in this one, or at least Leon. And this was somewhat. I need logical. I don't need nonsense. Logical. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with another one. Thanks. Bye.